Do you feel that you come away from lodge with a more centered, like
Oh
like your
yeah,
spirit is less chaos?
sure. Yeah. Heck, on the drive home, anytime I'm in the car, I'm listening to a podcast. But 9 times out of 10, if I'm driving home from lodge, I've got the podcast playing, but I couldn't tell you what the heck they were talking about. Just because I'm just so, calm, cool, and collected, and I'm just kind of reflecting on the events of the evening. You know,
See,
that,
that's awesome because I didn't know that until you just told me about that. And oftentimes, every time I'm in the truck, I've got the stereo up. I'm listening to music. My music has always been my way of escape. And when I leave lodge, I don't even have the stereo on. I reflect upon um, what we did at the meeting. I reflect upon what we've got coming up for the lodge. Um, and in that moment, I'm just existing just then. I'm not thinking about what bill I got to pay tomorrow, and I'm not thinking about what bill I didn't pay yesterday.
or all the crap you got going on at work the next day.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's amazing that to me talking to you that it has a similar effect on you. And I would be curious from other Freemasons that happen to watch this video. Does it affect you the same way when you leave lodge? And you're driving back to your abode, to your home, do you feel more at ease with the world around you? Do you feel less chaotic? Do you feel do you also experience what Simon and I are referring to? If you do, please leave a comment. Would love to hear from other brothers from other places. Always, our fraternity says that we take good men and we make them better, and we do so through obligations to a moral set of code to live by that code, not just when we're with the fraternity, but everyday life. Kind of directly reflects, the code of chivalry of knights of the Middle Ages. There's something to be said about that code. There's something about that touches the heart of a person's soul and creates some peace of mind, some peace of spirit, I think, personally.
And being a student of history, that also helps, and just getting to try to wrap your head around all the history involved.
Oh, absolutely. Our fraternity is intertwined with much of the world's history, all the way from the possibility of the Templar Knight connection through the forming of the United States of America, through
The first lodge meeting at Tun Tavern.
absolutely, absolutely for all you Marines out there. Ton Tavern, of course, being the birthplace of the Marine Corps. For our jarhead brothers out there, wherever you may be, stop eating the crayons and listen. Had to, sorry. Ton Tavern, of course, the birthplace of the Marine Corps, had a Freemasons lodge on the second floor. So there's a little bit of unknown or unwritten history that points towards the first Marines being Freemasons. It's just something for you to consider. We have brothers across the world. We do not tell you what name that you have to give God. We do not tell you what faith you have to follow. We ask that you only believe in a powerful deity. And in doing so, it enables us to not get into that contention. It enables us to be brothers with people from different faiths, religion and politics being the reason for every war that's ever been fought the face of this planet. It allows us to be brothers with those individuals. So those are a couple things actually we're not allowed to discuss when we're together in lodge. We're not allowed to discuss politics or religion with each other while lodge is open, but we certainly always welcome a theological debate around a good cigar and some choice scotch. So, but that's the nice thing about being Freemasons is even with these debates being the cause of all conflict, we are able to converse with each other calmly about a difference in opinions and walk away from it taking a little bit of information from all sides and feeling better and gifted for that information. It definitely teaches you how to subdue your passions. It helps you control your anger. And so the people that talk about, the conspiracy theorists that talk about the mysticism of Freemasonry, that we're mystics or whatever, that's the mysticism. Somehow just being in a room full of other guys, not judging you for what you have done, what you will do, or what are doing in life helps you with a lot of different things. Apparently that mysticism that the conspiracy theorists talk about is actually inside of all of us. Freemasonry just helps us tap into that, I think. And feel free to jump in and add anything you want to there, brother. I don't mean to take the whole talk here.
Oh, you're doing great.
Yeah. I don't know about all that, but
Heck, you're uh, you're saying it a heck of a lot better than I could.
I know that assisting you with your proficiency, I enjoyed it immensely. Us getting together and spending time on the phone or getting together in person and working on you moving to your next degree. I always walked away even from that moment in time, just those couple of hours on the phone with you. And we're not even going to the lodge building itself. Still seems to have that same effect that going to the lodge has. That effect is happening now, I feel. Just sitting here talking to you about this while we're recording this and being extremely subconscious about how much my eyes are moving back and forth as I talk and trying to remember to look at the camera and not the screen, which is kind of difficult to do.
This is a new thing for me too. I mean,
Yeah.
when we're filming our vlogs, we're just doing it with an iPhone.
Sure. Speaking of, if you guys get a chance, Simon has a YouTube channel. It's Hoosier Hikers. If you get a chance, go over there, check them out, give them a like, subscribe. They Simon,
Hoosier Hitchhikers.
Hoosier Hitchhikers, is that?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Tell us about your channel.
My channel is kind of it's a little bit of therapy. It's a way for my wife and I to get out and have an excuse to kind of get away from the kids, go on kind of a date. We'll do a couple of different tour styles. We'll hike some trails through the state park.
Nice.
We'll go to local restaurants, try some of the food, give a little bit of review, and then we'll also try a new beer that we've never tried before. And it's kind of the going theme is trying out good craft beer. And,
I know from watching your channel, there's a couple places that Wendy and I are talking about we want to go visit, and definitely the craft beer. That's always a plus.
Absolutely. But it's fun. It's good, clean. It's PG rated, so the whole family can enjoy it. And I try to impart some type of a little information on everyone, and I also try to impart some of my goofiness. It's chock full of either movie references or something Star Wars somewhere.
Right. Oh yeah, there's no doubt. Got to do that. That's a good time. That's another thing I enjoy, that we're both Star Wars fans. So we spend a lot of time talking about the Mandalorian episodes.
Oh yeah.
Me being retired, I try not to give it away when I'm texting him. He's still at work. He said, I haven't watched it yet. Don't spoil it. So I have to try to, it's hard not to text you about it that early in the day. Cause it comes out on, of course it's released on the streaming service before you get off work. So I've already watched it. And so I usually have to wait till the next day to talk to you about it. So how does your family view Freemasonry now that your wife, your kids, how do they see it now that you're part of the fraternity?
Well, I'm sure in the beginning, just like every other family, they're kind of what? What's going on?
Right.
But
you got to pay how much in dues?
as we've proceeded through it, I think even the family has kind of noticed some good results. My kids they're proud. They're proud to be we're proud to be a Freemason family, and my wife, God bless her, I couldn't have asked for a more supportive wife. I could see where it's just like you've always said, you get out of it what you put into it, and not once has she ever questioned any of the time that I'm putting into this.
Sure. That's good. That's awesome. As I've warned you, the further you go in the fraternity, when you start moving up into the different ranks and within the lodge, different responsibilities, of course, take up more of your time. For people for other Masons out there, you're going to get a chuckle out of this. And for people that don't know about it, hopefully you'll get a laugh out of it too. With me being a past master of the lodge, I'm also now the secretary of the lodge. And this is my third year as the secretary of the lodge. I'm retired. I'm a retired fireman. So it's definitely a part-time job being the secretary. It really is. But I still enjoy it because it's given me, I wasn't ready for my retirement. Of course, it was a medical thing, as Simon knows, but for those of you watching that don't, I received an injury on a job and it retired me. So recommitting myself to Freemasonry has given me something to involve myself in, so I don't climb the walls. Definitely not the kind of person that likes to just sit home and not do anything. I loved the job that I did. I like to think that I was pretty decent at it anyway, and it's the best job in the world. So trying to make that adjustment from going to work, and sometimes 2 or 3 different jobs, most firefighters have that many jobs, and to all of a sudden sitting here staring at the walls. So being a secretary of the lodge has definitely fulfilled the need to have something to do. I'm able to give it my full OCD-ness and my attention to detail for sure. So it makes life a little bit easier. Definitely. It helps.
I shudder to think of, what lodges go through when they don't have a good secretary.
And I shudder to think what the large lodges go through. I mean,
Right.
we've got 64 members. Some of these big city lodges, like up in Indianapolis or Chicago, for New York lodges, whatever be the case, that have 100+ members. I mean, that would be a full-time position for that guy in that chair. There's definitely lodges leave room for an assistant secretary. Our lodge just doesn't happen to need one, so we don't have one. But I could imagine that with being a member of those bigger lodges, you definitely would have to have more than one person doing that role, because it's involved. It really is.
Right.
It takes some time to give it the attention that it needs and requires and deserves. It's definitely a labor of love for sure, but it takes some time to get to do that. So if you are a master of the lodge, or you're a past master of the lodge looking to get back involved with your lodge, if you've got a secretary who's looking to get back into the officer seats, to go back to the east, or take his place, get involved, do the secretary's job. You're going to see the lodge from a different point of view. It's going to help you if you're losing your for Freemasonry is starting to slip, and it's becoming boring to you. Become a secretary of the lodge. It will renew your faith in your fraternity. I promise that. It can get frustrating. I mean, like anything else in life, it can be frustrating, but the secretary's position, you definitely are involved with all aspects of the lodge, and a good secretary will make the worshipful master's position in the lodge much more enjoyable for that worshipful master for the year or 2 years, whatever be the case that he's there. Definitely get involved in degree work. That helps too, which Simon's our rock star. So with his ability to memorize degree work, and he's got OCD too, where he's not happy with just being proficiency. He has to have it word for word down pat. We're lucky to have him. We are in the fraternity and our lodge, for that matter. The fraternity is very blessed to have someone like Simon.
I was just motivated to get in the fight and do some work that mattered.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Is there any other comments that anyone that's seeking? Is there anything else any other message you'd like to put out there for them to? If they're seeking to fill that void, if they're looking for, that club, that fraternity, that feeling of belonging to something more than just the guys they work with or the people that they live with, do you have any suggestions for people? Any advice?
As far as advice, I'm not real sure. I just, I can't agree with you more that, if you feel you're missing something, and this might be a solution for you, look into it.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And it's, I'm no psychiatrist or counselor or anything like that, but I think it could help some people. Maybe it could, I don't know, get you out of a slum.
We all see the rates, and we see the 22 a day. Let me speak to veterans here. There's the suicide rates among first responders are the highest right now that they've been in, forever. Unfortunately, it is, it is a fraternity. So if you're a female veteran or a female first responder, Freemasonry is not open to you. And for that, I am sorry, but it is a fraternity. But if you are looking to fill that place, you're looking to belong to something, anything. I'm not saying Freemasonry is for everybody, but what I am saying is, if you need to talk to somebody, talk to somebody. And if you're a Freemason, it's always easy to talk to someone, because you have brothers across the world. In every state, every country, almost every country. There are some places Freemasonry is not allowed. Hopefully Simon won't mind me saying, I noticed before I asked him to consider Freemasonry, over the years, him and I both could, being veterans, we could notice that when we were having problems, when we were bothered, there's always that unspoken look, or how what another veteran's thinking or what they're going through without even words needing to be said. I could tell that he was missing that bond that he had when he was in the military. He was having problems with it, and I could tell this. I thought he would be a good fit, and I'm glad that Simon. I'm glad that Freemasonry's filling that void for you. Like I said, I know it's never going to replace the brothers that you went to combat with. I know that, but it's the best thing. Right. I mean, same thing with firefighting. I can't do the job anymore. So I'm not out there on the streets running into buildings and saving lives and that sort of thing. And, I miss that. I miss that brotherhood as much as I miss the military one. Freemasonry definitely has made it easier not to have those things in my life, because I still have that bond. There is still a place I can go that has that element that exists in those other places. I mean, it's not the same thing. As a Freemason, I don't get to run red lights at 50 miles an hour with sirens blaring, but enemy combatant shooting at me. But nonetheless,
not unless you're driving through Louisville.
But there's that. There's that. That is a possibility. Yeah. It's, Seattle, those, any place like that. Sure. See that being a problem.
Not to interrupt you, Raj, but yeah, I know with our lodge, just the overwhelming number of prior fire, EMS, police, and military, is that pretty common through the lodges, or are we just kind of unusually high in those numbers?
No, that's a good question. The truth be told, no, that is not uncommon. You will find that a lot of police officers, a lot of firefighters, a lot of public servants are Freemasons. Let's face it, we don't do those jobs for the pay. You're not going to get rich being a policeman or a fireman, that's for sure. Freemasons being such a big charitable organization, and all the money they put towards, COSAIR's children's hospitals and just into the local communities. You'll find that a lot of first responders also become Freemasons because it's still just another way for them to give back to the public. I mean, there's individuals that become Freemasons for different reasons, but you'll find that a lot of police officers, a lot of firemen, a lot of EMS, paramedics, that sort of thing are Freemasons. Same thing with the military. A lot of currently serving, Freemasons in a lodge wherever they're stationed at. Of course, I wasn't a Freemason when I went to Iraq, but there's stories about them forming temporary lodges within certain units, during conflicts. So they still can go to lodge while they're in theater, whatever war they're fighting. There's stories about, guys doing that in Vietnam and World War II. There's actually several stories from different wars over the years, especially the Civil War in the United States, of brothers on both sides recognizing each other and saving each other's life because they realized that they were Freemasons. It's nothing for you to look down and notice Freemason's ring on another person's hand. I mean, it's a very recognizable symbol. Most people, you watch the History Channel and pretty much 2 or 3 times a month, you're going to see a program about us. So there's certain lodges that are mostly police officers. Different lodges in the United States, you might find lodges that are predominantly all police in that lodge. One in Southern Indiana is that that's like that is Clark 40. Clark 40 is predominantly law enforcement. There are members of Clark 40 that aren't law enforcement, but they are predominantly law enforcement. With our lodge, my mentor, being a paramedic, I was a firefighter, and next thing you know, I start getting other firefighters from my department to join lodge, and those firefighters start recruiting more firefighters, and that's how you get a lodge that's predominantly first responders. It's literally that fast. It happens pretty quick that way. A lot of auto workers, a lot of the guys from the Ford truck plant are Freemasons. I think you're the first design art Freemason that we've had in the lodge. I think you're the
If you want to call it that.
Well, that's what you do. That's what you do. You're talented.
I'm a printer, fabricator, installer. I'm not a designer.
Well, but still, that takes some skill, man. I've seen your work. There's no way I could do that stuff. I'd have it wrapped around me and I'd get mad and throw it on the floor before too. I mean, I'd be angry. That's it. I quit. I'm going home. I wouldn't come back to the job after lunch. You just, hey, where's the new guy? Where'd he go? I mean, there's no way I'd have the patience to do the intricate work that your job requires. It's impressive. I think that's going to do it for the episode. Leave a comment. If you guys would like Simon and I to do a live stream one night where we can answer questions directly, please let us know. Be happy to have him on a live stream with me on YouTube. Hit a like, subscribe, go over there and see Simon's channel. Check out some of the hiking trails in southern Indiana. Some of these hiking trails are pretty extreme. Matter of fact, the Knobstone Trail, which is in southern Indiana, a little bit of local history, is actually a trail that's hiked to train people for the Appalachian Trail. It's rated a pretty rough trail to hike. I've done it when I was much younger and not as banged up with another Freemason. But him and I spent a week doing the Knobstone, and it was a rough trail, but it was well worth it. Simon and his wife do a lot of hiking. One of the places that he's been to and they go to often is an old amusement park. Now, Simon, what era is that from? It's right there on the Ohio River, right?
Called Rose Island. Before it was Rose Island, it was a church retreat, I think in the early teens, 20s. It became Rose Island, and it went all the way till the Depression, and the 37 flood wiped it out.
Yeah, I can see the Ohio gets mad sometimes. As far as a trail goes, I mean, would you recommend it for, what level of hiker would you recommend that hike for?
Well, Rose Island itself is only a 3/4 of a mile loop over relatively smooth, flat ground. It's getting to it that's the problem. You got to go down a really steep ridge line that's about maybe close to a half-mile trail. It's all paved, but it's got a pretty steep grade. And getting back out of there is son of a gun if you're not prepared. It's the toughest part of the whole Charlestown State Park, but it's just that hill. Once you're clear of the hill, it's a breeze.
Okay. You know, I might have to try to venture that with you one time. I mean, with my back, it might be a problem, but you know, once we get down the hill, going up the hill is the hard part. Going down's not difficult at all. I mean, I'm sure I can get a good tumble and a speed that that'll deposit me rather quickly at the bottom of that hill. So
It's definitely worth checking out. Just the history alone and the relics and the remnants that are still there, it's killer. I love it.
well, I'm hoping that I could be on for a hike on your channel. I'd like to take you and Cindy, and it's going to take all day, and we're going to have to do it in the spring before it becomes 110 degrees with 150% humidity in the Ohio Valley, but up to Captain Frank's tomb.
Oh, I've always wanted to go there.
I know exactly where it's at and how to get to it, but it is you're definitely going to be traversing some elevation, which is going to be hard on me. Easier for you and Cindy, not so much for me, but I'd like to take you guys up there, and you know, and that's something you could record for the channel.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'd love it.
Well, I know a lot of geocaching hikers. That's a spot that they use. They use the GPS caching, find whatever item is left behind, and they tag themselves there, you know, by GPS coordinates. It's neat. The tomb, you can actually go inside. There's nothing in there. Of course, he's buried across the river in Louisville. His family had him moved after he was buried there. But just to see the structure, the mausoleum, that and then sit there and try to look on Google Maps and figure out how they got all these big stone pieces in place there, because there's no road leading to it. I mean, the road is long gone. If there was a road there, it's not there anymore. I wish it was, because it'd make it a lot easier on me showing you, you know, a little bit more flatter of a surface to walk to, but or walk on to get there. If you get a chance, check out Simon's channel. And like I said, leave a like and a subscribe, leave some comments on the video here. And if you'd like, we'd be more than happy to do a live stream, answer some direct questions. And Simon, thank you for the video. I appreciate being on here with you. It was nice to hear how Freemasonry has helped you not replace, you'll never replace it, but to somewhat fill that void, at least 3/4 to the top of the tank, you know, the void that you're missing, you know, from serving in the military. And you know, if this video helps out any veteran who's feeling alone, you know, if they happen to find their way to Freemasonry and it helps them fill that void, then, you know, all the better. That was the purpose of the video. If it just helps one veteran feel like they're not alone, then, you know, it was well worth the time doing this. So again, God bless everyone out there. Stay safe. Take a break from the media. Shut that TV off. Spend more time with your family, because right now the stress that the world's causing people, you know, a lot of people can't handle it. I know it gets to me. So
everybody needs to unplug once in a while.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Again, thank you, Simon. I appreciate you coming on. We'll do this again.
Brother, I appreciate the invite.
Anytime, brother. Anytime. Next time you get to pick the subject.
All right.
I'll try to talk less. Like I was telling you before we came on, I don't like listening to myself talk. I talk most of the video. So all right, everyone, have a good night and stay safe.
Take care.